Did you know that Paul considered himself blameless? In Philippians 3:3 he writes, "For we are the circumcision who worship Elohim in the Spirit, rejoice in Yeshua the Messiah, and have no confidence in the flesh, though I also might have confidence in the flesh. If anyone else thinks he may have confidence in the flesh, I, more so, circumcised the 8th day, of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of Hebrews, according to the Torah, a Pharisee, concerning zeal, persecuting the church, and according to the righteousness which is in the Torah, blameless." But what does this say to those who say it's impossible to keep the Torah? Well, a quick look at this word blameless in Greek is the word ampitos, and it means irreproachable, faultless, and unblameable. Now, in case you are thinking Paul was made blameless by the blood of Yeshua, I would not disagree, but that is not what Paul is talking about here. We find this word used again before the Messiah was even born in Luke 1:6 concerning Zechariah and his wife, the soon-to-be parents of John the Baptizer. Whereas in verse 6, they say they were both righteous before Elohim, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of Adonai, blameless. Now, is Paul condemning the Torah or counting it null and void? Absolutely not. For Paul says in 1 Timothy 1:8, we know that the Torah is good if one uses it properly. Paul goes on to say in 2 Timothy 2:15, be diligent to present yourself approved to Elohim, a worker who does not need to be ashamed, but rightly dividing the word of truth. I began this with a quote from Philippians, where Paul was literally bragging about his confidence in his flesh, meaning his ability to have walked all his life in obedience to Torah blamelessly from the age of accountability. And yet he goes on to qualify what he's talking about by saying in Philippians 3:7, but what things were gained to me, these I have counted loss for Messiah. Yet indeed I also count all things loss for the excellence of the knowledge of Yeshua the Messiah and Adonai, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and count them as rubbish, that I may gain Messiah and be found in him, not having my own righteousness, which is from the Torah, but that which is through faith in Messiah, the righteousness which is from Elohim by faith, that I may know him, and the power of his resurrection, and the fellowship of his sufferings, being conformed to his death, if by any means I may attain the resurrection from the dead. You see, Paul understood that there are two kinds of righteousness, and both have their place in our life. Paul desired that all men be Torah observant. And proof of this is from over a dozen Torah observant churches he established in his travels that continued to be Torah observant for hundreds of years after his death. Paul would never teach against the practice of Torah, for he was Torah observant until he died, and he understood clearly the importance of being Torah observant. Paul gave this speech many times to his lost Jewish brethren who rejected Yeshua as Messiah, trying to convince them that the righteousness that comes from Torah is for the benefit of the flesh in this life, and the blood of animals is not enough to obtain eternal life. For without Yeshua's blood atonement, no one will attain the first resurrection or eternal life. To paraphrase Paul, in Romans 3:31, do we then make void the Torah through our faith in Yeshua? God forbid. Yea, we establish the Torah through our faith. In other words, our faith in Yeshua should point us to obedience of the Torah. I'm Bill Sanford, trying to put the Torah in proper perspective in our day.